Call me Kazuri. Hello, guys. How are you? I'm good. How about you? Today, I'm coming here to talk about my suffering as a car broker and a good gentleman who believes in God and who believes in life. Well, I started doing car broking 6 years ago, and today, being on 25th of October, I think this is my second video on YouTube that I am serious about it, and I'm serious about this thing of maybe talking out. My journey starting car broking has been met with so many challenges, so many challenges. As I was starting, I never knew about this business or never knew about how to go about it. But there's this gentleman of mine we studied with in primary school. By then I had just cleared form 4. Yeah. No, I was 1 year out after I had cleared form 4. That is in 2016. There is this guy called Morithi, a friend of mine, and a guy we had studied in primary school from class 6 to class 8. Well, I had so many challenges. Let's make the story short. On starting, I started with just an idea because this guy used to sell cars when he's in school, in secondary school. And on me noticing that he's selling cars, I started seeing it in his Facebook posts that he is actually posting cars. But I never knew how to fetch those cars, how to even get those cars, or how maybe to know who are the owners of those cars, or maybe how to know how to go about cars. So I was curious. Now, this is after I've cleared Form 4, I'm 1 year out. I've not started even maybe enrolling to colleges, or maybe thought of maybe going to college because my background wasn't a good one, or it is sick one. Okay, it's about family issues. That story for another day. Actually, that's a full story, or maybe a story with so many episodes. So I was motivated to start car selling, but I didn't have any idea or anything to go about it. That's in 2017. So I started inboxing him to ask him how he's getting those cars or how he has to go about them. And there is this one day we had a chat, and he told me, you know how to start cars. You must know where cars are or who are selling those cars, or you have somebody you know who sells cars. Now I was so much confident about it because I already knew he sells cars. Um, um, what do I say? I never even dared that because it was hard for me to start it. Whereas I didn't know about cars. I didn't know anybody in our family who deals with cars. Although there are people who are driving, but driving and selling is one different thing. So I was curious. How will I go about this? Then there's this guy from our family who offered himself to sponsor me to college, and I was so much happy that I would join college and get to study because I had that desire to study. Even now, I've never even given up in maybe wanting to study more. So this guy promised me that he will pay for me school fees from the moment I'll start doing course to the moment I'll finish, or maybe to where I want to go. And I was so convinced to start. Uh, so coming 2018, I had already inquired about the school. I had already been coached about the course, and was about to maybe start. By then, I was staying at my sister's place. She had been married by then. So I went. I started school in March. I started my course in March 2018. That's when I joined NIPS College. I was pursuing IT, which was my desire also, because there's something else I desired to do was accountant, and maybe also much obsessed with operators, those machineries, the excavators, the graders. Also much obsessed with them, but on inquiring further, my sponsor refused to maybe sponsor me to that course, and he agreed to sponsor me on IT. That's when I started with certificate, because by then it's this system where Matiang'i had done us that thing, yeah, that thing. Those people who cleared their form 4 2015 2016 understands why I'm talking about Matiang'i and why our grades went down. So I started I on maybe uh, because the point is we are talking about how I started doing cars. So when I started studying IT, I studied it for that for one semester, second and third. Then I cleared the first module. On joining the second module, things started going south, because my sponsor had started this notion of that he won't, maybe, he's not available on phone. His wife, maybe sometimes you cannot be able to reach her out. So I started having hardships with my education, or maybe hardships with how I go about schooling. That's when I discovered a garage that was near where I had rented a small room since I was still a student at NIBS. I joined that garage, but my aim was to interact more with cars, not generally to know more about. Well, I still had interest in knowing how cars operate, or how their engines are made, how they are repaired, and maybe how to own a garage, how to drive. Although I had started driving, I knew how to drive, and I had already a license, which I got through a back door. That's a story for another day. But my big aim here was to interact more with cars. I had passion. I loved cars more. So when I joined that garage, I interacted with the guy who was doing the mechanical stuff, the engine wise, yani all about mechanical, the suspension, the what do I say? Okay, servicing, all those. Now, yes, I interacted well with that guy. I started doing mechanically. I started being as a mechanic. I came to know some few things here and there. Then the guy started to drink, and he did it severally until he was being chased by the owner of the garage, because he was tarnishing the name of the garage, and more customers were coming for mechanical repairs, and maybe they can't trust that garage because the guy is over drinking and can't control his drinking. So, but he was a good friend of mine, and he was very perfect in doing mechanical, even if he was drunk or maybe he was not. He never even made me to get the urge to drink, or maybe to be obsessed with that. My big aim here was cars. If you could have saw me many times, I was touching the steering, doing the driving here and there in the garage, maybe interacting more, wanting to know how a manual car is driven, wanting to know how gearbox shifts, things like that. So when I saw that, I didn't quit about staying in that garage. So the owner of the garage now, I started wondering who next will teach me more about cars, because now this mechanic has been chased away, and the owner of the garage was doing panel beating instead of those mechanical repairs and everything. So the owner of the garage started making me do the panel beating. I started taking the sandpapers, the new doors, even the rods, and those. What do I say? I started being these guys who does metalworks. Because now when the mechanic has gone and the owner of the garage does with does metal, what do I say, alikuwa anachomelea machuma, kubondoa nini nini, you understand, when a car has an accident, the repair of maybe bumpers, whole doors, the whole roofs, like that, like that. The guy used even to build these pickup bodies, the pickup back bodies. Well, I did that for a few times. Then I felt, no, this is too tired for me. I can't be able to do this because it's too tiring. It's time consuming because my interests are in cars. But when a car comes and you are supposed to do those panel beating takes 3 to 4 days, and doing mechanic work, that's a 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, and maybe when you missed a spare part, that car can be closed. You go to another car. So when I got tired, I started now even losing interest with the garage, because now the other mechanic that was brought there, we weren't so friendly. He was over age in a matter that we couldn't even interact. So I got tired and I lost interest with the garage. That was mid second semester of my second module of my certificate course in IT. That's in SAT, not diploma. So and I started getting tired now on about to clear my course. The third semester, that is in module 2, and that was the clearing of certificate level. Now it's when I started seeing, yeah, I can interact more with other brokers, because now I started learning there are brokers, and there is how you can know a broker, and these brokers do sell. That was in mid 2019 there, 2019. No, at almost the ending of 2019. That time cars had money, but I didn't know how to sell cars. So I started posting random cars. And you know what? I was taking those cars from Facebook, from brokers already who have posted their cars, and posting them. Not only Facebook, I used to take those photos even in my what was it called by then? OLX account. OLX had so many businesses, but I didn't know how to go about it. So when I was posting, I realized, yeah, there is so much interaction with cars. But then I'm posting something I'm not sure of, something maybe I forgot to take the number of the person who had it. When I search it, I don't find it. So not many people who started trusting me by then. But then slowly I came to know, oh, I can be having cars which I'm direct to the owners. I can know a car whether it's being sold by seeing a sticker at the back of the car, or the rear view mirror, or rear view windshield. That's when I started knowing how to sell cars. And actually, I stayed almost 3 months without selling any car, because I didn't have any fucking idea of how to go about it. I sold my first car on 3 months of posting, and on selling it, I was paid, I think, 15,000. That's when I realized, oh, this thing is so interesting. So can we pay this such amount of money? I was so happy. I didn't lose hope again. Now I started connecting with other brokers. I was so proud to do it. I got courage to do it. That's when I started being a serious broker on the ending of 2019. Coming 2020, when Corona was coming, so many people bought cars between January to something like April there. And between that time, I think it's not so many people were buying cars. Actually, so many people were selling cars, and we had room for us brokers to post more cars. And so that means if somebody was looking for a car, they had a chance to they had a chance to ask from us. Let me say, ever since, it's being history. I even connected back with the guy who first taught me how to sell cars, and I can tell you, I've never sold a car with him. Yani he motivated me and he gave me more. He made me to be more courageous in selling cars, but we've never sold a car together. This instance is not only with me. There's so many people who have never sold cars with those people, even who taught them how to sell cars. And it's not maybe a bad thing. The thing is, you can make your client base. You know, there are people who sell new cars frequently up to a point that they cannot sell any other other car apart from new cars. And there are those people who sell second-hand cars. And in second-hand cars, there are two type of guys, or maybe two type or three. Let's say three. There are those who plays with low budget cars, that is maybe 300k to maybe and below, and there are people who plays with a budget of 300k to 1 million, and there are people who can never sell anything that is below 1 million, but they sources from below 1 million if it's a dealer. So on learning my client base, I was in that maybe graph of 300 to 1 million. So I used to fetch cars between 300 to 500 mostly. Those are the many cars I sold that time. And I could be approached by so many people, including people from long distances, which I'll mention that they never used to pay me. Let me say this: I will used to post a car that is maybe in Eldoret, and somebody feels that they are interested with it. If they come to my inbox, they ask me, "Do you have the owner's number?" That time, no, let me not say that time. But I used to wonder, if I refuse this guy to buy this car, what will I do with this car? What will I benefit with? Um, and so I used to send them. I used to send their numbers, but the worst thing is, each and every number I used to send for long distances, very few people used to pay me. And do you know what you're paid? You're paid a very little amount, because that person knows you can't trace him, you don't know him. He just sent you a car from online. He shared even his contact only. You don't have the documentation of the car. You won't be available during agreement writing, etc. etc. That disappointed me a lot, and on that, I never stopped to post those cars, because they kept on bringing clients to me, even somebody who is near me, and so and could see I've posted a car that is in long distance. They could inbox me, and once I tell them it's far, they could ask me for a car that is maybe slightly near. That gave me a lot of experience, maybe information, and some wisdom in car selling. But we never heal. A broker is still a broker. You bado utatokwa. Those people, if somebody is greedy, they are greedy. If you've agreed on a certain amount, some people don't pay. Some people even just think a broker is just a mediator who doesn't make sense, or who doesn't have good brains. I don't know how people takes a broker for. And I have a very long story of being a broker, and I've broken it down to when I started up to now. But still, I won't say it's a reliable job for me. For me, being a person living with disability, because this thing requires your full time in it. I am never able to be lucky, maybe to be hired as a car seller or salesperson in a showroom, because most showrooms that I want to be hired, they are too far from where I am. And being too far, some of them they pay well, but if you look at distance and where you're coming from, and the day-to-day life, and my struggles as a person living with disability, and the walking distances to those showrooms, sometimes I do give up. I've tried once, maybe twice. Yeah, twice. I've tried twice, but I do see they are far. and I can't make it. I've never given up to say that I would like to be a salesperson, but sometimes I do say I want a reliable job where every month I'll be allocated something to cater for maybe rent, yani those small bills. But in between the month, I can do some other sales and benefit from commission. I still have interest in property sale, and sometimes I do sell them, but I've never sold even one. But let me say, I do have interest in them. I have some couple of plots, lands, and even houses for sale. And sometimes I do long to join those companies. Although some companies are hiring a person, but they hire you and tell you until you make sale, that's when will be allocated something. I don't want that. Me, I want a company that will own me fully. You tell me you'll allocate me something in between the month, and in between that month, I'm very sure enough, you can't go more than 1 or 2 or 3 months without making a sale, like for a person like me who has already learned this industry of marketing. Please, if you come across this video, don't hesitate to come and watch other videos, because I'll be talking maybe about my life, about this car business, about something that has ever happened to my life, and the sort and the sort. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me have those subscribers so that my story can be making sense. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you watched up to this moment, I welcome you to my YouTube channel. This is my second video as a serious storyteller. Thank you. Chill out. Bye bye.